In Keeping Their Marbles, I tell the bloody and intriguing story of how Western museums acquired their fabulous artefacts. So I look at the taking of the Benin bronzes, the Napoleon's campaigns in Egypt, the acquisition of Native American sacred objects, and also Aboriginal human remains. And I'm particularly interested in why claims for those objects have escalated and intensified over the last 30 years. It's certainly the case that objects have always been the focus of controversy and people have always wanted things back, but really in the last 30 years those demands have become louder and they've also been heard more. There's more of a sympathetic attitude towards them. So I argue that two things have happened. The first is that museums have become incredibly defensive and unable to justify what they do. I think this is really down to a crisis in Enlightenment values. So the idea that the museum is to pursue truth and to discover and understand the past is something that's very much out of the window. It's not properly defended. And you instead have museums who are kind of really defensive about their role. I look at one exhibition in particular where they basically advertised for repatriation claims. So this is a museum in Gothenburg in Sweden. They have these amazing collections of Peruvian textiles that are about 2,500 years old. They were taken from South America in the 1930s in a suitcase. So dubious method of acquisition, secretly, not the best way to acquire artefacts, obviously. But a few years ago, the Museum of Gothenburg put on a display of these objects and they called them Stolen World, a stolen world. And so the whole idea of the kind of catalogue and of the exhibition was that these objects really shouldn't be here, these textiles shouldn't be here. And so you should not be surprised to hear, you will not be surprised to hear that a few years later they received a request for the repatriation of those textiles and off they are now going. Another thing that has happened though, and it's very detrimental for museums, is that they've become politicised. They have become seen as vehicles of social change. Something like the Native American Museum in Washington is seen as a place to affirm the lives of Native American communities, to make them feel better about themselves, to give them a sense of identity and esteem, and to repair the past. One of the case studies I look at in Keeping the Marbles is the rapacious acquisition of artefacts from the Chinese Summer Palace. Its looting and its burning in the 1860s. This was done by the British and the French during the Opium Wars in basically a battle that took place because the Chinese killed one Times journalist and 2 British envoys. One of the key protagonists is a man called James Elgin, and he was the son of the Lord Elgin who took the Elgin marble. So we have a nice theme running in the family of acquiring objects. And this is what he said about that ransacking. It was the emperor's favourite residence, and its destruction could not fail to be a blow to his pride as well as his feelings. The punishment was one which would fall not on the people, who may be comparatively innocent, but exclusively on the emperor, whose direct responsibility for the crime committed is established. It's thought that about 1.5 million artefacts were taken from the Chinese Summer Palace. So this is sculptures, exquisite porcelain, jade, some amazing and beautiful things. And they're distributed, we think, in museums all over the world. I know that the V&A in London has quite a few, the Boston Museum in America, museums in Paris, and Chatham Boatyards, I think, has a throne. The Chinese do want them back, and they are now searching nooks and crannies and records of museums to find out what's where. And it's quite difficult, but they have been to America, they're going to pop over to France, and I think they're due to come to London.